The world is full of fascinating countries, each with its own unique culture, history, and landscapes. Some are famous for their technological advancements, others for their stunning natural wonders, and some hold secrets that few know. You have probably heard about the great economic powers of the world. But did you know that the richest country in Africa, in terms of GDP per capita, remains unknown to most? Despite its oil wealth, Equatorial Guinea is a country where a large part of the population still lives in poverty, a contrast that surprises many. This country is also distinguished by other particularities. It is the only country in Africa where Spanish is the official language, a legacy of its colonial past. Additionally, polygamy remains a common practice among men, a tradition deeply rooted in the local culture. On the other hand, in the markets of some cities, it is possible to find the sale of animal heads and bodies, a phenomenon that generates controversy and is linked to both traditional medicine and spiritual beliefs. Equatorial Guinea is located in the central region of Africa, bordering Cameroon to the north, Gabon to the south and east, and the Atlantic Ocean to the west. Its territory is divided into two parts. Continental Zone, also known as Rio Muni. It houses the majority of the territory and includes the largest city in the country, Bata. It is a region characterized by dense tropical forests, flowing rivers, and low mountains. In this area is the future capital, Ciudad de la Paz. Insular Zone. It includes several islands, the main ones being Bioko, where the capital Malabo is located, and Annobon, a volcanic island in the Atlantic with an active fishing community. Bioko is a mountainous island with dense jungles and beaches, home to unique species of flora and fauna. Other smaller islands include Corisco, Elobe Grande, and Elobe Chico, located near the Gabonese coast. The country has a coastal plain and a warm, humid equatorial climate, with abundant rainfall and impressive biodiversity. The combination of its geographical location and climate makes Equatorial Guinea a country with a great variety of ecosystems and endemic species. Despite its small size, Equatorial Guinea has a population of approximately 1.5 million people. Although Spanish is the official language and is used in education and administration, indigenous languages such as Fang and Bubi are spoken in the family and community context. In schools, Spanish is the language of instruction, although many children grow up speaking their native languages at home. However, the enrollment rate is low, and few manage to complete higher education. The literacy rate in the country is around 95%, but the quality of education remains a significant challenge. This educational and linguistic landscape is not a coincidence, but rather the result of a complex historical process that has shaped the development of the country. To understand how Equatorial Guinea arrived at this reality, it is necessary to delve into its history, from its colonial period under Spanish rule to the authoritarian regimes that have influenced its political and social evolution. The country was a colony of Spain until 1968, when it gained its independence. Its first president, Francisco Macias Nguema, established a brutal dictatorship. He prohibited the mention of the name of Jesus Christ and closed all churches. It also imposed radical measures such as the prohibition of bread and any Spanish products. It forced children aged 7 and older to serve the state, sending some to North Korea. After his overthrow in 1979, his nephew Teodoro Obiang Nguema took power and has remained president ever since, becoming the longest-serving leader in Africa. In an act of personality cult, he established an official celebration for his birthday, consolidating his political dominance for over 4 decades. Equatorial Guinea is one of the richest countries in Africa in terms of GDP per capita, thanks to its oil production. However, wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few, and 70% of the population lives in poverty. Despite being a country that exports cocoa and oil, the lack of infrastructure and corruption have hindered development. Basic services such as health and education are inadequate. The vaccination rate is low, and child malnutrition is a serious problem. In the healthcare sector, most of the doctors practicing in the country are of Cuban origin, sent through cooperation agreements with the Equatorial Guinean government to address the shortage of local healthcare personnel. The lack of investment in infrastructure not only affects the quality of life of the population, but it also reflects in public transportation. There is no bus system, so people rely on taxis and private vehicles. Surprisingly, there are many abandoned cars on the streets. The main roads are paved, especially in Malabo and Bata, but in rural areas the roads remain unpaved. The culture of Equatorial Guinea is a blend of African and Spanish influences. The coexistence of these influences has led to unique expressions in music, family, and gastronomy. Young people listen to a lot of drill, a music genre that has gained popularity in recent years due to the influence of globalization and connections with other African countries. On the other hand, adults prefer traditional African music, such as Bantu rhythms and makossa, which are often accompanied by festivities and ceremonies. One aspect of their culture that still exists in parts of the country is that men have multiple wives, as having only one requires paying a dowry to the entire family of the woman. This tradition has roots in the family and economic structures of the country, where large families are seen as a symbol of status and wealth. And when we talk about its gastronomy, peanut soup is a very popular traditional dish. Additionally, other dishes include fresh fish, fried plantains, and stews made with cassava and game meat. Equatorial Guinean cuisine is a reflection of the fusion between local ingredients and recipes inherited from the Spanish colonial past. One of the most famous discoveries in the country was the albino gorilla known as Snowflake, discovered in 1966 in Equatorial Guinea, and later moved to the Barcelona Zoo, where he became a symbol of animal conservation. His uniqueness lay in his albinism, a rare genetic condition in gorillas, which made him a worldwide phenomenon until his passing in 2003. Additionally, in 2000, some local markets, heads and bodies of animals are sold, which has caused controversy due to the illegal trafficking of species and traditional hunting practices. Many of these products come from poaching and are used in religious rituals, traditional medicine, or as status symbols. The lack of effective regulations and the demand for exotic products have made it difficult to eradicate this practice in the region. Equatorial Guinea has attracted many foreign investors, especially from China and Lebanon. The Lebanese community dominates trade and construction, while the Chinese have built much of the country's modern infrastructure. These investments are mainly due to the abundance of natural resources, especially oil and gas, which have generated international interest. Additionally, the Equatorial Guinean government has promoted strategic agreements with these countries for the development of infrastructure and trade, which has facilitated the arrival of foreign companies. Many foreigners arrive in the country in search of job opportunities, especially in the oil sector. If you wish to visit the country and experience its beautiful nature, a visa is required, which can be obtained at embassies and consulates. Despite having a low number of tourists, approximately 5,000 per year, tourism could develop with better opening policies. Some of the most notable tourist destinations are Monte Allen National Park. This park is the ideal destination for nature and wildlife lovers. Here you can take guided walks through the rainforest, spot elephants, gorillas, and other exotic species, as well as enjoy its stunning biodiversity. Eureka. Known as the wettest village in the world, Eureka offers a unique experience with its impressive waterfalls and tropical rainforest landscapes. It is a perfect place for travelers seeking adventure and hiking in an almost untouched natural environment. Despite Guinea's enormous oil wealth, many luxury mansions have been left abandoned, reflecting the economic inequalities in the country. These homes, built during the oil boom, were abandoned due to the economic crisis, corruption, and the exodus of investors. Additionally, the high maintenance costs and lack of buyers have left many of these structures forgotten. It is also a country where a lot of beer is consumed, becoming one of the most popular beverages even in times of economic difficulties. Both imported and local beer can be easily found in bars and stores, being part of everyday life and cultural celebrations, despite the high cost for a large part of the population.